welcome to the show. Today is Thursday, June 5th, and I'm sorry I didn't do a show last week. Crazy busy, as I hope you can imagine. We're getting so close to Mark getting out. It's 5 weeks today until Immigration and Customs Enforcement picks him up in Yazoo, Mississippi, and takes him to a private prison in Louisiana, we believe, where he'll be processed and sent home, hopefully quickly, but probably 2 weeks or more. We're guesstimating. We really don't know. But 5 weeks until he leaves Yazoo, so that's very exciting. That'll be on the 10th of July. His sentence ends on the 9th officially, but prisoners get picked up on Thursdays, and that would be the 10th. And so the dabber people out there, the oil heads with your 710 number to match the weed 420 number, you're probably going to be celebrating the day of Mark's release from Yazoo. So Mark has a new blog that I just finished editing and posting online today. It's called Hats Off to You, Justin Trudeau, and it's commenting on politicians who don't stand up for marijuana while they're in office, but then they try and cash in now, today, on legal marijuana businesses that exist. And he's just saying that basically he doesn't really like those people doing that, and maybe we should just legalize it for everybody. And you should go read his blog, where it ends with a hats off to Justin Trudeau for being the leader of a party that is saying we're going to legalize it. So that is really big. That's extremely significant. That's the goal of activists in this country for decades, to have a federal party say, yes, we will legalize marijuana. It's never happened, never ever. So, you know, I have a lot of issues with a lot of the things political parties of all stripes do. So, you know, I've got criticisms for even the Liberals here in Canada, but I do believe this is a seriously important time for our country and for our cause. And I have to say, we're going to be back in the Liberals, and I'm going to be joining them today, signing up online, giving my donation, and being a member of the Liberals. So Mark, that blog is online. Go check it out at cannabisculture.com, and he's excited to come home and to tell everybody the importance of supporting the Liberals because they support legalization. And I was gone in Toronto for Champs. That was the last thing that I did before or after my previous show, and it was okay. It was pretty good in a lot of ways, but I will admit there's a few things that were a bit disappointing. But overall, it's great to see the continuation of an expo in Toronto where Canadians can get together. But next year, I'm sure, is going to be improved in a lot of ways based on the feedback from this year. And you can find all sorts of video on Pot TV and photos and an article by Jeremiah at cannabisculture.com. So we covered it extensively. We live broadcast over 8 hours. I did some Pot TV camera work. I was holding the camera, going on the live show with Redbeard and others. So tune in on pot.tv for all the Champs Expo Toronto coverage. I had another event this past weekend, the Canadian Investors Conference here in Vancouver. It was an event for the mining industry and like big money types and forestry and, you know, all that stuff. I don't really understand stocks and bonds and money stuff, but people were there to hear about marijuana and the marijuana industry and what kind of profits are being promised. So I was asked to speak on a panel, one of 3 people talking about marijuana. One of them was an auditor for Deloitte. That's like a big company that just deals with money, and they're working on marijuana now. And there was another representative talking from Stockhouse, a financial magazine report that covers all the up-and-coming industries and where you should put your money. And then I was the third person just talking about what I like to paraphrase as compassionate cannabis capitalism, talking about how money and making money is good, but we shouldn't be putting people in prison. We've got to end prohibition before we can cash in. You know, we still have work to do. And there was a surprise guest on that panel. I was kind of shocked that he didn't, you know, veto because I was there. But Nancy Pelosi, who is the minority house leader for the Democratic Party in the United States of America, that's Barack Obama's like right-hand lady there. She, you know, I don't really know much about her, but her son is involved in a company called Verde Research or something like that. And he was there from California, where he's also potentially going to be governor of California, from what I read in a report. But he was there on the panel too. So that's a son of one of the highest ranking US politicians sitting at a little panel with me. And he got to hear about Mark's story because I was asked about it. And he got to hear a lot of what I said about the importance of giving money back to the community and righting the wrongs of prohibition. And he echoed a lot of what I said. He repeatedly went, I'm going to echo what was said here. I'm going to repeat what was said there. So if you want, you can go to pot.tv and watch that presentation. It's about half an hour, and Jeremiah just uploaded it, so you can go see what I had to say on that stage. And hopefully that message will go into the ears of politicians in California and others, because I really feel the walls of marijuana prohibition are falling, and momentum is really gaining for our side. So exciting times ahead. And I was invited back to Canada's right-wing news network, Sun TV, on Monday to talk about Health Canada here and how they're being overrun with applications to be legal medical marijuana producers. So many people want to be a company that grows pot legally under the new federal system. But there are, of course, a lot of flaws with that new program, including prohibiting people from growing their own. So that's being addressed by John Conroy and the MMAR Coalition Against Repeal, working to have a legal case brought to protect patients' rights to grow. So you can check out articles and more on Canada's Culture about that. But I was there to talk about the idea that so many people want to get into this industry, but how can we have money being made selling to some people and people going to prison on taxpayer dime on the other hand for the exact same thing? It doesn't make sense. And she kind of agreed with me that government messes everything up, but it was also a bit of a tough interview because it is Sun News. So I don't think that was put online, but I don't know, I've lost track. I think it's well over a dozen times they've had me on, but the message is agreed upon by a lot of conservatives, you guys. So don't ever, strike someone out just because they seem right-wing. We can convince a lot of people, and a lot of them are on our side already, so don't exclude anyone. Ending prohibition is nonpartisan. Reach out to any audience you can ever talk to. And on that note, I get to reach out to a few audiences this month. Tomorrow morning, I wake up bright and early to fly down to Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. So I'm heading down there for the normal Texas Drug Policy Conference, and I'll be speaking there alongside other activists like Russ Belville, and there's a few of them there. I recommend you go to the website and take a look at the people who are going to be speaking at that conference. So it's really exciting because I haven't ever been in Texas itself besides flying through the airport to go see Mark in prison. So now I actually get to go meet activists down there, and I'm really looking forward to it. Lots of change happening, and I only get a few more chances to speak in the U.S., so that's this weekend. Dallas-Fort Worth, normal. Look it up online or go to my Twitter to find out details, and that's on the 7th and 8th. And then I come home just for a few days and then fly away for my second last prison visit with Mark down in Mississippi, and that's on the 14th and 15th. So I'm flying down on Friday the 13th. I hope there's no troubles, but I'll be down there to see him that weekend, and I just can't wait. It's getting super exciting. All these emotions are coming out of me. I'm super stoked. It's like just so close, and I get to see him for the second last time, and then right after that I fly to Toronto, where I'll be speaking at the Idea City Conference, Canada's Meeting of the Minds or something like that. I forget the slogan, but this is the second time I've been invited to speak. My first time was in 2012. You can find that video online. Jodie Emery, Idea City. I spoke about Mark and prohibition and the human costs of the drug war. So I'll be speaking again this year on similar topic, of course, with Mark coming home. And also speaking will be Steve D'Angelo from California, one of the most highly profiled activists down in the U.S. who's been making a lot of differences in people's lives, particularly patients, with his Harborside Health Clinic. So great to be able to go there and hear him speak as well. I'm looking forward to it. But other than that, it's all sorts of types of people who don't normally hear about marijuana, and so I'm looking forward to talking to them. And a big thank you to Moses Neimer, media mogul, for holding this event and inviting me back out. I'm so looking forward to it. And then after that, I fly home, and maybe I might be back out in Toronto for the Green Rush Conference, but I'm pooped. So maybe I'll just stick around and wait for Mark to get home, and I'll be trying to do some shows, I guess, next week. I'll get a show in next Thursday, but then it'll be a little break, and then I'll be back to see you guys with very few days left in the countdown. So thank you for watching all of these years. Hard to believe it's wrapping up, and I don't think I'll be doing a Jodie Emery show. Maybe once in a while, maybe once a month, I don't know, but these weekly updates are a little hard to keep up, and with Mark coming home, I'm going to be so busy. So I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you for your patience, and I'll see you guys next week. Free Mark Emery and free all the drug war prisoners. It can happen.